always don't want to be involved in sexing this present government, because I've always remained consistent that he is doing well. Because what he promised the people is exactly what he's doing. That he will start and continue from where the previous government stopped. And that is doing well, Charles. He can go and use every measure. I said it in this studio before. Somebody who made dollar at 300 and something, 400, is now 1,005. Charles is done fantastic. Same in fuel, same in everything, same in unemployment, everywhere, in terms of democracy, in terms of everything, is in on the sliding side. And that is doing well, because that's what he promised.
Alright, let's be honest, a lot of people out there believe Peter Obi is just playing the opposition card too much, that is simply desperate to be president by all means. But in a recent interview, Obi cleared the air. He exposes the real strategy these politicians have been using to deceive Nigeria year after year. Look around you, the economy keeps sinking, poverty keeps rising, and yet they keep telling us things are changing. What baffles me most is how they always twist failure into an achievement. Imagine meeting the naira at 1,000 to dollars, it climbs all the way to 2,000 naira, then drops slightly to 1,500 naira, and suddenly they want you to clap for them, claiming they have done a lot. This is the same strategy they have been using. They spend the first 2 years of their tenure doing absolutely nothing, then towards the end they make some noise, patch a few things and present it as progress just so they can beg for another term. And Peter Obi said it clearly, this is exactly what they promised, and that's exactly what they are doing. They pick the country from where the last president left it and then somehow make it even worse. Now here is the thing, Obi has always made it clear that becoming president was never his life ambition. It only started when he saw how Nigerians were crying and suffering. He has always tried to lead by example, but unlike him, others are chasing their dreams of becoming president one day, and in the process millions of Nigeria are paying the price for their ambition. So if you still think Obi is desperate, then you really need to watch this interview to the end. You might begin to see things differently, because the election should be about performance, about the will of the people, not about forcing yourself back into power by any means necessary. Think about it. Just 1 month after someone's promises change and enter office, people are already complaining. Instead of life getting better, it's worse than ever. Homelessness is increasing, unemployment keeps climbing, corps members are graduating in millions, yet there are no jobs waiting for them, no homes, no security, nothing to hold on to with their certificate. And don't forget the so-called student loan. Let's be real, that's like creating a problem and then selling the solution back to the people. School fees have gone up by almost 80%, and now they have come offering you loans like they have saved the day. The cost of studying had not been made unbearable in the first place. People wouldn't need loan to survive, but that's their style. Break the system, then come back pretending to fix it just to win praises. So at the end of the day, good governance shouldn't be about fulfilling someone's dreams of ruling. It should be about lifting millions out of poverty, giving people hope, and making Nigeria a place we can all be proud of. So if you are tired, if you are angry, and if you truly want change, make sure you watch this video to the end, and don't just watch, make sure you share it, because a lot of Nigerians need to hear this truth. And of course, subscribe, because we must keep exposing this game until real leadership finally comes to this country.
Well, I suspect they're likely to disagree with you. I mean, the president's team have suggested that his reforms are working and that his management prudence is bringing back international confidence. They say that growth may be slow, but it's on an upward curve, and that Nigeria's fiscal position has improved considerably, which is the precursor to investing in infrastructure and innovation technology. But you don't agree with that assessment?
Charles, when you talk about improvement, there are not things you say. There are things people feel. There are things people see. There are things that, it's just like when you talk about, I've listened to people say jobs are being created. Where are the jobs? You know, if you talk about job creation anywhere in the world, you see the figures. If you talk about improvement in education, you see it. Improvement in health, improvement in this. If you say the government is now doing the right thing, the democratic, the this, you will see it. You just mentioned River State. So where is it? So we can see it. It's not a question of going to say, oh, investors are coming back. Where are the investors? Where are they investing? Companies are closing down. They're leaving. Local companies, manufacturing is going south. So where is it?
Clearly, you're not seeing it.
Nigerians are not seeing it.
Are you possibly, as they say, missing the beat of the moment? His aides are suggesting that perhaps you're focusing too much on playing the opposition card and you're not seeing the increments that are gradually, making themselves felt in this country.
Charles, the Nigerians are not seeing it. I am one politician that moves around in Nigeria, and I know the feeling of the people.
Yeah, but what about prices in the market? I mean, there have been some, maybe not enormous reductions, but there have been some significant reductions, even in fuel, for example, petrol prices. I mean,
where did we start?
They've fluctuated
Charles,
a little, but they've come down.
Charles, where did we start? We started at about 200 to over 1,000, and now it's slightly below 1,000. You have to look at where we started. You didn't just say, oh, it's coming down. No, where did we start? What has changed? Consider the income of the average Nigerian. Those who are fortunate to have a job. What it now tells them if they're buying fuel.
So basically, your prognosis, your assessment, just to be clear, is that things have got worse, not better, in spite of the reforms that the president has put in. I mean, you're not agreeing that obviously reforms take a while to begin to be felt in the country. The removal of fuel subsidy, the regularization of price of cost of naira and all the rest of it. I mean, you don't think that those things are reforms that needed to be done? Wouldn't you have done that if you were president?
Charles, I believe that reforms take time for people to start seeing the gains of it.
Well, that's what their argument is.
But people have to see a clear roadmap that what they are sacrificing for. Let's take fuel subsidy, which they say there's huge savings. Where is the savings being challenged?
Well, they said, for example, and I'm not a spokesman for the government, but I have to play the devil's advocate because they're not here. I mean, they said that, for instance, more money is being given to the states. And if you look at the numbers, I mean, the amount of money that the states are getting, I mean, it's higher than it used to be. Although some are making the argument, and I suspect you're making the same argument, that because of the devaluation of the naira, what they're getting is not worth anything.
Charles, if you are making a savings, you said, I want to save this money to be able to invest where? You have to invest in critical areas of development. And those critical areas of development are education, health, and pulling people out of poverty. Are we investing in it? Just no.
Well, they would argue that they're investing in education. They're providing funds and loans for students, which has never happened in this country before, to allow them to be able to go to school.
This country has universal basic education. And we have over 20 million children out of school. That is the critical area. It is the basic education that is critical area. We're not doing anything in it. Just today, I visited an IDP camp. There's over 40,000 people in IDP camps around Abuja. I'm not talking outside Abuja. The one I visited is in Abuja. With over 4,000, they don't have a primary health care.
4,000 or 40,000?
Over 4,000.
Right.
40,000 around Abuja. But 4,000 in this particular facility.
Right, okay.
They don't have a primary health care. they don't have a primary school. They used to have a primary school which was there by UNICEF. It's closed down for the past 3 years. The kids are there. There's no primary school. There's no health care. So if you don't have that in Abuja, where do you have it? Where? And this is the one you said is free. Free and compulsory.
Is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu going to win the next election in your view?
It depends on a lot of dynamics.
Such as?
For example, if he's able to carry out an overhauling of his policies. For example, I still believe that the policy that has thrown Nigeria into a bottomless pit of economic disorder, economic hopelessness, are the twin policies of more subsidy on petrol and the flotation of the naira. If something can be done about these two policies now to restore energy security for the purpose of productivity and social well-being, and if he's willing to actually commit the much needed class suicide as we speak now, and people begin to see a change towards a new direction. Because like I said earlier, there comes a time in the life of every nation when the elite will rise up and say, look, through an elite consensus to say, enough is enough. In our own self-enlightened interest, let's begin to do the right thing.
But that's not going to happen.
It is in his own interest for it to happen, really.
In whose interest?
The president. Because to end him a re-election. Look, when you have a fringe candidate, I call him fringe like Peter Obi, who claims and who says he doesn't give shishi, but is having this level of following, it tells you that Nigerians actually want good governance. And Nigerians are ready to follow any leader that leads by example. It is cheaper for the president to adopt the route of good governance to re-election than relying on structure that is very expensive to maintain and run. That is the class where I'm talking about. Look, it's a matter of taking the plunge. So I do not know, sitting right here, whether or not we will win the election, but a lot of odds are stacked against him because he's, for me, the president is going to the next election with a heavy overburden of incumbency disadvantage arising from underperformance and delivery of good governance for the people of Nigeria in the last years. In fact, he has left Nigerians worse than he made them in 2 years. Something has to be done about that. And that's why the race for 2027 is starting early. So early in the day that people cannot wait to see a change of government. And I'm saying he still has the time. You see, I credit the president with one thing, one quality that I know the president possesses. It's a deep and fertile mind. That he may not always coherently convey, but he has a very deep and fertile mind. Go and read his inaugural speech. Go and read some of his statements. It tells you a man that is actually deep-minded and very brilliant for that matter. What we are telling the president is, redirect this potential you have towards a better Nigeria, realizing that the method you have been used to is unlikely going to work. It didn't work for you in the last election. It won't work in the next election.
At the end of the day, the truth is simple. Nigeria belongs to the people, not a few politicians chasing their personal dreams. And until we begin to demand better, they will keep using the same tricks over and over again. And that's why voices like Peter Obi stand out, not because he's perfect, but because he keeps reminding us that leadership should be about service, not selfish ambition. So here is my message to you. Don't just sit back and watch. Speak up, share the truth, and let more Nigerians know what is really going on, because change doesn't start in the government house, it starts with the people. So if you believe in good governance, if you believe that Nigerians deserve better, then don't just scroll away, like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe so that you don't miss the next one.